Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and start talking about what's up for this week. Hopefully, uh, Philip will be able to change his system so that he can join us too. I can see him, but I can't hear him. Um, for week two, you're going to be learning about functions and methods, variable scoping, that is where variables are visible within different parts of the program and how you can control that. UI alert view, which is like alerts in JavaScript. NS numbers, which you may know you cannot store basic types such as numbers, chars, excuse me, integers, floats, doubles, chars, those sorts of things that are not pointers. Only objects can be stored in arrays and dictionaries, and NS mutable arrays and NS arrays, NS mutable dictionaries, and NS dictionaries. They can only hold objects. They cannot hold those basic types that aren't objects. So if you need to store such things in arrays or dictionaries, you need to convert them into NS numbers. So how to do that is covered. UI buttons, which will allow you to interact with the program. Selectors, which will allow you to tell which button is being pressed so that you can do different things depending on which button was pressed. And for your second project, you'll be doing some things concerning what you've learned about numbers, methods, and alerts. You'll create a single view application program. All your code will go in View Controller. The code that calls your method should go in ViewDidLoad. You're going to create 4 different methods. One is going to be called add, and it should take two integer or int types and return the result of an addition between those two. It shouldn't do anything else. It should not call any other methods from inside this method. It shouldn't try to combine the result with a string or anything like that. All that sort of thing should be done out in the call, which will be in your ViewDidLoad method. These methods will be in their own space, not inside another method. So the add method, you're going to send in 2 ints and return an int. Don't mix your NS integers and ints. Although they both evaluate to int, the NS integers on a 64-bit system will be a long type, and that will give you problems if you try to assign them to an int type or vice versa. So either use ints or NS integers, but don't try to switch between the two. Create a bool method called compare that takes 2 integer values and return yes or no in caps, depending on whether the values are equal, or you can use true or false if you like. Create a method called append. This method will take 2 NS strings, and return a new NS string that contains the combined strings using the NS mutable string and the append string method to combine those 2 strings. So you're going to append the second string to the first string and then return the result. Create a method called displayAlertWithString. This method will take as a parameter an NS string. You take that passed string and display it in an alert as the message using UI alert view. If you want to, you can pass a second string to use as the alert view's title. Otherwise, you can just use a generic title. Okay, your method should do nothing other than what is described in the list I just covered, and you'll find that in your assignment. Everything else, such as calling your methods, capturing the results into variables, converting the ints into NS numbers, which you have to do for the add method, and NS strings, and forming message strings, with the exception of strings joined by your append method. Everything else should be done in ViewDidLoad. Okay. I didn't mention that for the add method, once you get your result back, you want to store that and convert that to an NS number and then to an NS string before you send that string in as the parameter for display alert with string. Now, This isn't really something that you would necessarily need to do, but we're just having you do it so you can learn to use NS number. Okay, in the viewDidLoad method, call the append method with two NS strings, capture the result in a variable, and display a UI alert view with the appended string by calling display alert with string. In the add method, pass in two integer values, capture the result. Now the result is the return value. You might do other things inside the method. You might assign values to other variables, but those are not the result. Those are considered side effects. So anytime we talk about the result of a function or method, we're talking about the return value. Okay? Keep that in mind later in the class as well. So capture the results of the method into a variable, bundle the returned integer into an NS number, so convert it into an NS number, and then convert it to an NS string, and then call the display alert string function, passing it the NS string. The message should read, the number is the sum returned by the add method. Okay, well, it'll say the number is, and then whatever the sum is. Okay, you may pass in some text for the title or use a generic title for all the display alert with string alerts by hard coding it in the display alert with string method. Call the compare function with two integer values, display a UI alert with both the integer values given and the result. Yes if they're equal and no if they're not. By calling the display alert with string function. Now you can say something like the numbers 3 and 4 are not equal, or the numbers 5 and 5 are equal, or you could say yes, the numbers 3 and 3 are equal. No, the numbers 2 and 5 are not equal. That sort of thing. You can put it into a sentence instead of just saying like 3, 5, no. Okay. Any questions about that? I still can't hear you, I don't think.
I had muted you because I had a call.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Were you able to hear me?
I did. I've got my two headsets on. Yeah, everything sounds fine. It sounds fun to have that one main function that calls all the other little tiny functions, so that'll be fun. But yeah, I don't think I have any questions on that.
Okay. There isn't really a function that calls the other functions. You called all the functions from viewDidLoad.
I know. This nomenclature.
Well, I guess viewDidLoad could be is a method too, so that's valid. Okay. So any questions about that? Then? No?
Nope. Seems just fine to me.
Okay. Great. Well, that's all I really have to say. You have any more comments or?
Well, that was quick.
Yeah.
No, not really. I mean, it sounds very simple. I do have one. Actually, I probably do have a question here. I know that we can define the methods and all that good stuff, and we define them in the header to be used anywhere inside of the implementation file, right?
Yes, you take the signature of the method, which is the entire first line that includes the parameters and everything. That signature goes in the .h file with a semicolon at the end.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
That took me a little bit to figure out on the last assignment too, but I got it. So we're good.
Well, actually, as long as you are only calling them from within the same class, that's not absolutely necessary. It'll work anyway, but we like to teach you to go ahead and put it in there anyway. If you were going to call it from another class, you would have to have it in the .h file or it wouldn't work.
What type of syntax do you guys want for the coding convention? Do you want us to use dot syntax, or can I continue using the way that I've been doing, like this?
You can either use the brackets or the dot syntax.
You guys don't mind either or?
I don't mind. I like the dot syntax personally. Some of the other instructors prefer the brackets, but
oddly, I seem to like the bracket method much more than I like the dot syntax. I don't know why. JavaScript was all dot for me, but this I like the brackets.
Either one is fine. They both evaluate to the same thing.
Okay.
But we normally use the dots. The dot syntax is more often used for properties.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. All right, well, that makes sense. I don't think I have any other questions. It sounds fairly easy to do, and I'll have some fun with it, so that's about it.
Okay, great. Good night then.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.